Call to order the City Council regular meeting for the City of Wyoming, Minnesota, July 21st, 2026. Let the record reflect that we are starting at 7:02. All members are present except for Member Onstad. We have Member Luker, Member Schilling, Member Yeager, and Mayor Iverson are present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. What I'd like to do first, Council, is we've been asked to add a number 22 onto the agenda for an update from Mr. Weck. So we need a motion to add a number 22 to our agenda. I'll make that motion. We need a second.
Second.
We have a second by Member Luker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. First on our agenda is open forum. Is there anybody here for open forum? Yep. Okay. We'll move on to approval of minutes. Okay. Consider approving the minutes of the work session of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for July 7th, 2026. If there are no changes, comments, or questions, do we need a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Member Schilling. We have a second by Member Luger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Consider approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for July 7th, 2026. If there are no comments, questions, or changes, we need a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Member Luger. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Consent agenda number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Is there anybody who wishes to pull an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, we need a motion to approve 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Member Schilling. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Luger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Acknowledge receipts of reports of officer boards, commissions, and department heads. Number 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Does anyone wish to pull an item from the reports for further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move on to communications. Number 17, facilities groundbreaking ceremony. I'm not sure if that's Mr. McFarland or Mr. Linwood.
Either or, but I can take that, Mayor. Thank you, members of council. We just wanted to give you an update in regards to our city facilities. Staff has been working with Kraus Anderson to coordinate a groundbreaking ceremony to recognize the start of our construction of our City Hall and Fire Department facilities project. The groundbreaking ceremony will be held on Wednesday, August 5th at 2026 at 5:30 p.m. prior to our regular scheduled 7 o'clock City Council meeting. It's expected to last approximately an hour, and the ceremony will include brief remarks, a ceremonial groundbreaking, project renderings on display, and light snacks and refreshments. Council members are encouraged to attend as we celebrate this, as we will have opportunities for pictures for the groundbreaking. So if you are interested in being part of pictures, dress appropriately for that, if that's something you're considering.
Besides posing for a picture, does council have any other role in this groundbreaking ceremony?
Usually just the pictures. I think we'll have some remarks, probably from myself, the mayor, and potentially Chief Milligan or Chief Bauer.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
For that, but that'll, like I said, that'll just be brief. But usually it's pretty much a normalcy with any facility project that they have. They'll bring the hats and the golden shovels and have the pile of dirt. And,
So basically grab a shovel, take picture?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, correct. Yep.
thanks.
You're welcome.
And I am going to ask that council does stay within order when called upon, please, instead of just throwing out questions. Okay, thank you for that update. Appreciate that. Looking forward to that. That has been a very long time coming, and very excited to finally get to this point. Number 18, new business, to consider resolutions 260782, a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of a ground lease and lease purchase agreement, and approving and authorizing insurance of lease revenue bonds and execution of related bonds. Mr. Linwood, I'm pretty sure this is you.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just a little bit of background about this agenda item. We do have Jenny Bolton, the city's bond counsel, with us tonight as well, but I'll start out with just some background on this, and then if there are any questions, she is present virtually to answer those for us. So if you do have questions, I just ask that you utilize your microphone, as we are having some technical difficulties still, unfortunately, tonight. So if you could do that, and we'll, Mr. McFarland, I know, is going to work to make sure that she is able to be heard by the council as well. But just to go through this, a little bit of background, the City Council previously selected lease revenue bonds issued through the Wyoming Economic Development Authority as a finance mechanism for the improvements of the City Hall and Fire Department project. Construction contracts have been awarded, and financing documents establishing the legal framework necessary to complete the bond financing to proceed toward closing. Although several legal documents are included in the agenda item, they collectively implement a single financing transaction. Each document serves a specific purpose while working together to establish the rights and responsibility for the city, the EDA, the trustee, the bondholders throughout the financing period. And unlike a traditional GO bond, the finance is structured as a lease and revenue bond issued by the EDA. To accomplish, the city temporarily leases the project property back to the EDA through a ground lease. The EDA then leases the property and facilities back to the city through a lease purchase agreement while issuing lease revenue bonds to finance the project. The city's lease payments are pledged to repay the bonds as an independent trustee administrators financing on behalf of the bondholders. And then throughout the finance period, the city continues to own the underlying property, occupy and operate the facilities, and remains responsible for construction, maintenance, insurance, and all day-to-day operations. Once the bonds have been repaid, the city's temporary leasehold interest is terminated and the financing structure concludes. There is a resolution, as the mayor introduced when she brought the agenda item up, Resolution 2007-82, authorizing the execution and delivery of a ground lease and lease purchase agreement and approving and authorizing issuance of lease revenue bonds and execution of those documents. Those documents are stated as exhibits. You have Exhibit A, legal description of property; B, the ground lease; C, the lease purchase agreement; D, the trust indenture; and E, the continuing disclosure certificate. A is just the legal description of the property that we are looking at from the lease. The ground lease, just to go into that a little more, the ground lease is the first step establishing the lease revenue bond financing structure. Through this agreement, the city temporarily leases the project property to the EDA for a nominal payment of $1. This agreement does not transfer ownership of the property. Instead, it provides the EDA with legal leasehold interest necessary to issue lease revenue bonds. The city retains ownership of the underlying property and continues to possess and use the site throughout the financing term. Once the financing obligation has been satisfied, the EDA's leasehold interest terminates. C, the lease purchase agreement. The lease purchase agreement is a primary financing agreement between the city and the EDA. After receiving the leasehold interest through the ground lease, the EDA leases the property and facilities back to the city. This agreement allows the city to occupy and operate the City Hall and Fire Department facilities while making lease payments and corresponding with debt service on the lease revenue bonds. The city remains responsible for constructing, operating, maintaining, repairing, insuring the facilities throughout that financing period. And the agreement further provides the lease payments are subject to annual appropriation by the City Council and do not constitute a general obligation of the city pledge. The city's full faith and credit. Once the bonds have been repaid, the EDA's leasehold once again terminates and the city continues as the sole owner of the facilities. Exhibit D is the trust indenture. The trust indenture is the agreement between the EDA and U.S. Bank Trust Company, National Association, serving as a trustee for the bondholders. The indenture authorizes the issuance of lease revenue bonds, establishes the terms and repayment of the bonds, creates the various financing funds, and assigns the city's lease payments to the trustee as a security for the bonds. The trustee is responsible for administering the financing, receiving lease payments, making bond payments to investors, and carrying out the duties established under the finance documents throughout the life of the bond. Lastly, the continuing disclosure certificate. The continuing disclosure certificate establishes the city and EDA's ongoing reporting obligations following the bond issuance. Federal security regulations require certain financial and operating information along with notices of specified material events to be filed annually with the MSRB, the Municipal Services Rulemaking Board. This document ensures compliance with those continuing disclosure requirements for the life of the bonds. With that, we can stand for any questions. Like I had earlier noted, we do have Jenny Bolton, the city's bond counsel, present, so I can let council ask any questions.
Okay, let's start with Member Luger.
No questions.
Okay, we'll go to Member Yeager.
Okay, what is the bond rating being used to issue these bonds, and how does it compare to the city's bond rating?
Is Jenny able to hear that?
I am, yes. And
Oh, good.
I don't know if you can see me, but I've got my camera on. The city, that's really, Chris Hogan isn't at the meeting today, is she?
She is not.
Okay, so Chris, Chris Hogan with Baker Tilly, is Baker Tilly is the party that will obtain the credit rating. It is based on the city's credit rating, because the city is the party that's ultimately making the payments. The EDA is the pass-through in making those payments from the lease payments that the city makes. And so it is based on the city's rating, but it is generally adjusted just slightly downward from a general obligation bond because of the right to non-appropriate. Investors will assume that because these are essential public facilities for City Hall and fire operations, that there is a high expectation that they will be paid. So it is just very slightly below the city's general obligation rating.
Okay, and then with that adjustment downward, how much more interest or cost is it going to add to the bond?
And again, that would really be a question better addressed to Baker Tilly as the city's municipal advisor. Mr. Linwood?
Yeah, I think there'll be, this is really the point for the lease documents we will have for the bond sale, when Chris Hogan will be here to go through those components of that in regards to that. The city's current rating is an AA2. We were upgraded recently from AA3, as Ms. Bolton had stated. I think it'll be nominal in regards to the difference, but it is still a little bit lower. But what that impact will be in regards to that, we'll have to wait and see on bond sale. But usually, yes, it is. We don't quite receive quite the same interest rate as we would a normal general obligation, but it is should be close.
Okay. Right, well, obviously, I'm not in favor of taking out EDA bonds. That's going to cost the taxpayers more than GO bonds for a project where costs have already will have and will continue to escalate much more than the original estimate, and that doesn't even include what it's going to cost to move the police over to the new building. What I'm curious about is, what do you all think, or Jens thinks, going to happen if the city takes out the less expensive GO bonds? What are you guys afraid of?
That was a direction given by council to use lease revenue bonds, so I don't have a response for that. Staff supplied the options of the GO bond and the lease revenue bond, and that was the one selected, so that was the direction staff received, and that's what we did.
But what are you guys afraid of?
I'm not afraid of anything.
No,
I
this
think
was
that
just-
verbiage is very, very disrespectful.
Oh.
So, Member Schilling, your turn.
I really didn't have any question. Actually, the bond rating question was the one I had, and Linda hit it first. So, but as far as the decision, that just seemed to be the lesser of the two evil path with the cost and the time constraint that we had in front of us. And we've had this conversation multiple times since I've been on this council, and this project has continuously gone up every year because we keep waiting. So I think there was a lot of factors in why we did that. And that's my interpretation of it, so.
Member Luker.
I have no questions on that.
Okay. I'm just going to say this, if we wait a whole nother stinking year, it means it's going to add more money onto that project. So verbiage is verbiage. Nobody is afraid of anything. We just want to get this done. So I will make the motion to approve Resolution 260782, a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of a ground lease and lease purchase agreement, and approving and authorize insurance of lease revenue bonds and execution of related documents. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Member Luker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
It passes. Flying colors. Number 19, to consider resolution number 260783, a resolution approving amendment number 2 to the construction management agreement with Kraus Anderson Construction Company. Mr.
It's
Lindward.
number
Will be.
19, right?
19, sorry.
Yeah.
Apologize.
My notes got all mixed up.
More technical issues. All right, thank you, Mayor, members of the council.
There it is.
This resolution, we have a few different, and I apologize, actually, I'm going to have to go back up here. Amendment number 2 to the construction management agreement with Kraus Anderson. So on September 20th, 2022, the council approved the construction manager's advisor agreement with Kraus Anderson for the company, with the company for our future, at the time, actually, I take that back, for our future, for our present public safety building when we were looking at that option. At that time, that established Kraus Anderson as the city's construction manager during the planning and design phase of the project. As the project progressed, the city council approved amendment number 1, and that was on November 18th, 2025. That amendment updated the anticipated project scope of what we're doing now, and that's in regards to the existing city hall and fire just becoming a standalone fire, and then the renovation of the building over at 26263 Forest Boulevard for the city hall, and then further down the road for the police department. That amendment updated the project scope, established pre-construction services, and revised the anticipated construction schedule, and provided the framework for construction phase compensation as the project continued through design and bidding. Since approval of amendment number 1, the city has completed architectural design, project financing, bidding, or continuing on our project financing and project development. The city council has approved construction of the new city hall and renovation expansion of the existing fire department, with the construction scheduled to begin on August 10th, 2026. Amendment number 2 updates the existing construction manager agreement to reflect the project as it transitions from a pre-construction into construction phase, specifically the amendment, and that is as follows: updates the project description to reflect the approved city hall and fire department facilities, updates the project budget identified within the agreement, revises the anticipated construction schedule to reflect the approved project timeline, identifies the current Kraus Anderson senior project managers assigned to the project, establishes compensation for construction phase services, including project management, field supervision, construction administration, and reimbursable expenses during construction. The amendment also establishes compensation provisions should the construction phase extend beyond the anticipated 10-month schedule. This amendment does not expand the scope of the project, authorize additional construction work, or increase the overall project budget previously approved by the City Council. Rather, it finalizes the construction manager agreement for the approved construction phase and provides the contractual framework necessary for Kraus to administer construction of the project. Construction management services will include that coordination of contractors, scheduling, construction administration, quality control, budget monitoring, project oversight, and overall management of construction activities throughout the duration of the project. The costs associated with this amendment are included with the overall project budget that was previously approved by the City Council and will be funded through the approved project financing. Once again, the approval of this amendment does not increase the overall project budget. With that, we would ask Council to approve Resolution 260783, a resolution approving amendment number 2 to the construction manager agreement with Kraus Anderson Construction Company.
All right, we'll start with questions from Member Yeager.
No questions.
Member Schilling.
I actually have no questions on this.
Okay. Member Luker.
Also no questions.
I have none either. I will make the first motion to approve Resolution 260783, a resolution approving amendment number 2 to the construction manager agreement with Kraus Anderson Company. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Member Luker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So approved. Number 20, to consider Resolution 260784, a resolution approving construction contracts for the City Hall and Fire Department facility projects and authorizing limited construction to change order authority. Mr. Linwood.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. This is approval of construction contracts. This is the first, and there will be more to come. We can anticipate that you will have other construction contracts to approve at the August 5th council meeting. We have approved all that. It's gone through before, and we are using Kraus Anderson as a CMA project manager on this. Kraus manages the bidding process and coordinates construction. We've gone over some of this and administers the project. The contracts with this agenda item are just a first group. Like I said, we will anticipate having more of these, but the contractors on this are Twin Tower Demolition, Ebert Construction for concrete and masonry, Endurance Exteriors for roofing, Falcon Mechanical for combined mechanical, Ebert Construction for concrete paving. These contracts were competitively bid and reviewed by Kraus Anderson and their project team. Staff has reviewed the recommended contract awards and finds them to be consistent with the approved project scope and budget. Approval of these contracts will allow construction activities to proceed while additional bid packages are presented to the city council as they become ready for execution. The second component of this is a limited construction change order authority. It is possible that we will have change orders within these projects. Sometimes minor construction change orders may be necessary for unforeseen site conditions, coordination between trades, materials, substitutions, or other construction-related issues. Delaying action on that until the next regularly scheduled city council meeting may interrupt construction activities, delay subcontractors, increase project costs, and affect overall efficiency of the project. To facilitate efficient project administration, staff is recommending authorizing the city administrator to approve individual change orders up to $20,000, provided that the change order is funded entirely within the city council approved project contingency, what we have for the project. The change order does not increase the overall project budget. The change order does not materially alter the approved project scope, and all change orders approved under this authority shall be reported to the city council at the next regular meeting. The limited authority is intended to keep construction activities moving while maintaining city council oversight of the overall project budget and construction administration. Funding for the construction contracts is included within the overall project budget previously approved by the city council. Any change orders approved under the proposal, administrative authority must remain within the approved project contingency and shall not increase the overall budget. With that, we are recommending to approve Resolution 260784, a resolution approving construction contracts for the City Hall and Fire Department facilities. I can't stand for any questions.
Member Schilling, you're first.
You pretty much covered a couple of things. I was going to bring this up early on because this authorization lives within the contingency of the contract, so it's usually something that doesn't cause any issues in my tenure of running these things. The one thing I was going to ask, though, because construction is construction, so if we do run into something that is an unexpected or, we can't stop the process of, when you're on a punch list, things got to get done. I'm going to ask, though, that we try to make ourselves available, because if we need to call a special meeting, if something happens, we need to do that, because we cannot stop. When contractors are going in, they're here this day to this day, this day to this day, and they cross over, we don't want to delay that. Now, that doesn't need to be in here, I'm just making the point. We haven't had to do that in my career, but I'm all for this, but I wanted everybody to kind of know my thoughts on that. If something comes up that's outside of this scope, we need to meet ASAP, because once you bump a project, you're going to end up 2 months behind, 3 months behind. That's the construction world, so that was it, sorry.
Okay, no, you're fine. Member Luker?
I have no questions. This seems very reasonable to me, in the same vein of what Member Schilling was saying, is that we've worked really hard to get here, and we want to keep the project going. And so, yeah, I'm totally in favor of this.
Okay, thank you. Member Yeager?
No questions, but I don't think this is a really good idea, because, especially for a project where costs keep going up and up and up, and the sky's the limit.
Well, it's not.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna say, this
not.
doesn't-
It's within the project contingency amount that we have set aside, so it can't be outside of that. And essentially, it works like our purchasing agreement when we have an emergency purchase, that even though I approve it, it still comes back to our city council at the next meeting.
Yep.
So
I still
it does have to be within the contingency. It doesn't have an exponential size that it can just go outside of.
And that's kind of why I was talking about the special meeting if we need be.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd rather have special meetings than blanket authorizations. So
Okay.
that's just my opinion.
What I believe on this is, we have had Mr. Linwood as our city administrator for 10 years now,
Not quite.
right?
Not quite.
Not quite, but we're getting there, right? And I honestly believe we've never had an issue with him managing money or funds or any orders or anything like that. I have full confidence that he has been transparent. You can write that in your notes. That he has been transparent with us through every single process that we have gone through. So I have absolutely no issues with this, and to your point, Member Schilling that we need to be available, should it be any more outside of that scope. So I will make the motion to consider resolution number 260784, a resolution approving construction contracts for the City Hall and Fire Department facility projects and authorizing limited construction change order authority. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Luker, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
It does pass. 21, to consider lease agreement between the City of Wyoming and Hallberg Marine, Inc. for the Wyoming Fire Department. Again, Mr. Linwood?
It is. Thank you, Mayor, members of council. This is the last time tonight, unless something comes up, Mr. Weck's item that we've added. You'll have to listen to me on this topic. But essentially, what you have before you is, as part of the renovation project, it is not possible to continue having our fire department occupy the existing building with the construction schedule. So staff continued to look at potential sites as we went through this to temporarily locate during that construction. We have negotiated a lease agreement with Hallberg Marine for approximately 6,000 square feet with Building C, 26581 Fallbrook Avenue. That space will accommodate all of our fire apparatus, equipment, operational functions while work is completed over at the existing fire department. Right now, we are anticipating to operate from this location until March of 2027. Obviously, within the lease agreement, it goes out at a further point. We have communicated with Hallberg Marine that is the anticipated date. Obviously, with construction schedule, it will be somewhat fluid, but that is right now what we're anticipating. With that, there is language within the lease that if guests giving 30 days notice to Hallberg Marine, we can exit, so we would just have to follow that. But as of right now, the lease would begin on July 26th with that, like I said, initial 12-month term. The city retains that ability to terminate within that 30 days. Monthly rent during the initial term is $3,750 monthly with no security deposit required. The agreement is structured as a gross release, and Hallberg Marine will be responsible for property taxes, building insurance, snow removal, water and sewer. So we would be responsible for utilities serving the lease space, including electricity, natural gas, internet and telephone if we saw fit, and then any of the structural maintenance also remains with the landlord. This is a very critical component of this, is it does not allow for our fire operations to do this, and that is very important to make sure that we have uninterrupted services to our community during this time. I'd like to say that the Hallbergs were fantastic to work with. I think they negotiated a very fair price on the space and were very accommodating with the changes that we asked for in the space during they were cleaning it out from another leaseholder. So we appreciate them working so diligently and really honoring any requests that we had in this space.
Okay, questions from council? I believe the start is with Member Yeager.
If we get the ladder truck back before the lease runs out, can the building accommodate it?
Chief Bauer, I don't think we will have it back in that duration, but I don't know if the building could accommodate that ladder truck.
Oh, okay, because if you were talking a second year on the lease, I thought maybe the ladder truck would be done at least by 2 years.
Well, I think you're talking about if we got it back in the anticipated March 27
If you
end
got
date?
it back before this is all finished, and you're still doing the lease, you said it didn't, it's not big enough to accommodate the ladder truck, but when you mentioned that you had a second year, an option for a second year on the lease,
Yeah,
I didn't know if there would be overlap
we do,
there.
but we don't anticipate utilizing it for the ladder. I think the timing on that, it's going to take long enough for that ladder truck and the timing that they've allocated to us, allowing to essentially grab it when we're ready to pick it up and bring it back here. So I don't think that should come into play. Chief Bauer, is there anything I'm missing there?
No, I don't anticipate that there will be an issue. There is short-term, Golden Bauer can start towards that.
Mhm.
And that would be a short-term issue.
Okay.
Member Schilling?
A couple of things. I got to say thank you, Mr. Linwood, and any and all staff that worked on this. This was one of my biggest worries, was finding an immediate space for our fire department to get this construction going. Secondly, I was actually very surprised by the lease price, especially in what is being offered and what we're responsible to take care of. So this was a big for me because of this project coming in, so. And yes, I know Austin was really nice to work with, so. Anyway, thank you very much to any and all of you that worked to get this done, because this was one of my scary hurdles.
Member Luker?
I don't have any questions, but I mean, obviously, this is something that is really critical to maintaining public safety and providing our community the services that they pay for. And so to kind of echo what Member Schilling said, thank you to our city staff who worked on this, and a huge thank you to the Hallbergs for really working with us on it.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. All right, so I'll make the motion to approve a lease agreement between the City of Wyoming and Hallberg Marine, Inc. for the Wyoming Fire Department. Do we have a second?
Second.
Oh, Claire, second.
Second by Member Luker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It does pass. Number 22 that we added to the agenda, I don't have a written note on that, but I know that Mr. Weck is going to be talking to us regarding a building. So, Mr. Weck, we'll hand the floor over to you. What?
Madam Mayor and council members, we call it the Wyoming Motel, I don't think it has an actual name, but 26237 Forest Boulevard Trail. Back in March, Public Safety was called for a medical. After being in the unit, they asked me to come out and take a look. The basement's flooded, if you read my report. But the electrical, the fuses are blowing in the unit, so they're running cords out into the yard, out into the hallway to plug into outlets out there. There were no smoke detectors operable, no carbon monoxide detectors operable. The basement, about half of it had about 2 inches of water in it. The rest of it was wet just from the rest of it. You can see the mold and mildew and everything in the pictures I provided. And talking to the property owner, she first got back to me on April 13th after I had emailed her the letter and sent it certified mail. She was going to get bids and all that. She's in England. She came into town about a month ago, talked to contractors. I told her that this meeting was coming up and we'd have to either get a deadline from her or get an answer from her for when she was going to take care of the building, or I start this process, which would be to raise the building, demolish it. On Thursday, she contacted me. She said she's still working on bids. She didn't have a hard timeline. I asked for a soft timeline. She never responded. So here we are. So in the order, just basically giving me authorization to start the process to get the building torn down and any of the other structures on the property also.
Okay, so let's start with Member Luker.
I would support this, just reading through all the concerns. Also, I feel like when I look at these pictures, I can smell them. Yeah, and I think it's unfortunate that the owner wasn't willing to provide even like a soft deadline. But unfortunately, I mean, I think this is part of community safety too. Furnaces are standing in water and there's no emergency lighting. So, yeah, I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Member Yeager.
Are we going to have a bunch of hazardous material to dispose of in the debris?
It mostly household items that were in there that I last saw. We will have to do an asbestos assessment to find out if there's any asbestos, but other than that, I don't think there's going to be anything else.
Are the costs going to be charged back to the property
Everything,
owner?
that's the 429 process, just like the street assessment process. It's the same process, basically.
Okay. That's all I have.
Member Schilling.
I absolutely have no problem with these. I do a couple a month. I'm just glad Wyoming only has one every couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is bad.
Okay.
Take her down.
I have no questions. It's
Yeah.
So we need a motion to approve that Mr. Weck.
Oh,
Is there a
What?
problem?
no problem. I was just going to ask if you could, for the resolution, if you could use resolution 260785.
85?
Correct. Thank you.
I was just going to wing it. We need a motion to approve 260785, a motion to approve our building official, Mr. Weck, to start the process to have the building raised in accordance with Minnesota Statute 463. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Member Schilling. Do we have a second? Second by Member Luger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved.
Thank you.
All right, we will do council reports. What? No?
It's fine, he can do it when it comes to the next one.
We need to redo this?
Well, just, correct. So there is an order that Administrator Weck had put in front of you. What you just approved there really was to start the process. He does have a more formal draft resolution. However, this could wait. I think we do have to provide notice to the property owner.
Yeah,
This
we
is
do.
happening anyway, so this could come next, or you could do it right now too. We still would have to allow the owner an opportunity to come before council.
Sure.
But I just, you didn't, based on what procedurally, what was just voted on, it wasn't this document, it was just allowing him to go forward. If council wants to formally, then we would have to do this resolution here.
Let's just get this done. What would be the number on this resolution?
It would be 260785.
Yep, okay.
Okay. All right, so we need a motion to approve Resolution 2605, order of the city.
Or
What?
260785.
Yeah.
Oh,
260785.
26.
07.
0785.
Yes.
So
Thank
moved.
you.
Okay, we have a first. Do we have a second? We have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're done. That's good. All right, council reports, please. We'll start with Member Luger.
The work session earlier tonight.
Thank you. Member Yeager.
Oh, I attended the budget work session earlier tonight. Thank you for coming, Lauren, and thank you all for watching.
Member Schilling.
I attended the EDA meeting last Monday and the budget work session in front of this. Thanks for coming. I know nobody's watching because I think we're down, right?
We are down
Oh,
right now, but
well.
we'll post our audio
Yep.
tonight yet, so
Okay.
on there. So the live stream is not working.
Otherwise,
We'll have
yeah.
the audio up tonight.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, thank you all for listening, whoever listens.
Okay, so I attended the work session as well. Monday, we had the Joint Sewer Commission, always a lot of fun. We had the EDA meeting last week, and I would like to give a shout out. During my day job, Chief Bauer, I was at Meadows on Fairview, and I had the opportunity to ask them about a lot of different things within the city as well. They wanted me to say thank you for the fire department, the elevators, and everything that you guys do, whether it's police or fire, everything that you do for that building, they are highly appreciative, and they say there is nobody better but you guys and your staff. So, yeah, you're welcome. All right, we need a motion to adjourn at 7:39. We have a motion to adjourn by Member Luker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 7:39.